Everyone, Brittany and Chris Carmichael here, bringing you the Elevated Life series where we teach you simple mindset shifts to create radical transformation in your life. And today's topic is one that we get requested all the time, and it's such a big topic that we finally decided to take it on, and we're going to do it in two parts because it's such a big topic and there's so many different things involved with this particular topic. And in today's video we're going to talk about the best resources to heal your money blocks. And in the two-part video, in the next one, we'll talk about ways in which you can begin to manifest more money and how you can attract that into your life.
Yeah, you know, this one's really going to be about what is the internal stuff that's going on, and the next one will start being about like actual business, like how do you get your message out into the world and how do you do things like that so that you can get paid for your work. And we'll talk about the different kinds of businesses you can step into from employee to employer, stuff like that. This one's just on mental mindsets to get you in the game, because if you don't handle this part early, it becomes a problem, and you don't want that problem down the road. Like, handle this stuff first, and then, you know, get on to the next part.
Yeah.
Very important.
And to bring in like the more woo-woo side, our money blocks and our security, our sense of security and foundation lie in our root chakra. That's at the base of our spine, and it's the beginning of your journey of healing yourself and allowing that magical energy to just flow through you and turn on your light so that you can be a magnet for miracles and attract all of the abundance that you know you're worthy of. So self-worth is a huge topic when it comes to money, because people are always putting a value of money to their self-worth. And something that is really important is to recognize that self-worth is called self-worth for a reason.
Yeah, you know, the thing is that money is imaginary. You know, it's made up. We literally take trees, we cut them down, we print crap on them and say, hey, this has value. And then we gauge everything based on an imaginary value. So it's really important to start thinking of things, thinking, am I worthy of this? Do I deserve these things in my life? And stuff like that. That's all mindset stuff. And you're making all of that stuff up. So these are things that you can change. They're all in your power. You don't have to go anywhere to get them. This is something that you can do mentally, and you can start immediately. So you don't need to wait. You know, don't have to wait till next week or till New Year's comes. You know, so you can start this now.
Yeah, let's do that actually. So the first thing that we need to look at is, what is our money mindset? Like, what is our story around it? Is it's scarce, I'm not worthy of it, how will I ever make it? Like, what is your story? Is it my parents didn't have any money, so I don't have any money? What is that story? Because you have to recognize what you're speaking and believing is creating that truth for you in your life. And the moment that you decide to change it, the rest begins to change. I grew up in a trailer park. Now, granted, my parents owned it, so at least we had the entrepreneurial mindset, right? But so I came from this idea of like, you can be in business, but it wasn't a thriving one. And I learned that it was the mindset around the situation that was creating that in reality.
Yeah, which is, you know, it's true with everything. You know, your mindset is how you live. And so,
hi Rachel.
If you haven't problems,
hi Ann. Hi
yeah,
Erica.
hi everybody.
Sorry.
Yeah, thanks for
hi
joining.
Nikki.
Yeah. You know, so one of the biggest resources that everyone should start with, and this is one of the most read books on this topic, period.
Before you say something, because I know what book you're going to say, I yesterday put a bet that I guarantee, I would put money on this, and I don't make a bet that I'm not going to win. I would put money that 90% of millionaires of today have read this book. Would you put money on that?
I think it's either one of the second or third most read books, period. I think the first one's the Bible, and it's like second or third to that.
Okay.
Super high read, and that's Think and Grow Rich. So
by Napoleon Hill.
Yeah, Napoleon Hill, you know, basically talking with Andrew Carnegie, and seeing how mindset stuff works. It's all about mind. The whole book is on mindset and how you can begin to take your thoughts and ideas and put them into action and turn it into a reality. It's very good.
I love the original copy of it, like the old school,
from the 30s.
Yeah, like the old school version, because it talks about using your sexual energy as creative power. And so who wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah, so you know, the big deal is do not buy.
Ann says I have it on my shelf but never read it.
All right,
Girl,
check this out.
Get on that book.
This is huge though. This is huge. So Do not buy the new version.
Yeah.
They took out a lot of the languaging. You know, Britt was talking about chakras and woo-woo stuff. When you go back to these older guys, the guys with the fortunes, I'm talking about like the Henry Fords, the Edisons, the Carnegies, these huge, these huge names. They knew all of these principles, and they took these principles and they made them work for them, and they're all in the book. So if you have that book sitting on yourself, start reading it immediately. Listen,
your answers await.
So if you have money problems, you need to be reading this book like once a month, once every other month. Read it until you're just like, until everything in it becomes action for you. You know, it's not just enough to read it. It's not just enough to have the knowledge. It's not just enough to have the information. You have to start doing it, but go buy the old version because they talk about energy and manifesting and things like that. And in the new version, all that languaging, all that kind of like woo-woo-y type stuff has been pulled out. So you definitely want to grab that because that's a huge portion of it. Napoleon Hill wanted that language in there.
Rachel says she loves that book, and Erica says she's reading it now. That's so awesome. So we've talked about now the number one resource that every single person needs to read if you want to use your mind to manifest things. And because we're talking about manifesting money, it's important to point out that money likes movement. It doesn't want to be hoarded or saved or stuffed in a sock drawer. It wants to be used and utilized. So money comes in so that you can put action out into the world. Brendan Bouchard said once, the money moves his message. And that changed my perspective on money because it's not about how much can I have and how luxurious can I live, although you can enjoy the luxury of life because you deserve it, but only you decide that. But when you know that money is a spiritual tool that helps you to move that message that comes from your heart, that passion, that soul, then you know that you have to open up to receive it so that you can do your great work in the world.
Yeah, you know, so get over those money blocks, go through Think and Grow Rich, do at least that work. That's the very first step. Like, I mean, you can find the book online.
For free. Like, look up a free audio book of Think and Grow Rich. Like, don't let any more excuses. Again, your money blocks are your story and the story you have around it and the thing that says why it can't come in. Another great resource book that I think for manifesting and learning how to open up yourself to receive, because that's the biggest problem. We all want it. We all want more of it. But what do you want it for? And are you willing to receive it? And in the book, Ask and It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks, she'll explain that law of attraction and how what you're asking for is going to be given to you, but you have to open up to receive it. You can't keep saying, oh, I don't deserve it, I'm not worthy, there's not enough. Or maybe you have the problem of once you get it, you don't know what to do with it or how to manage it.
Yeah, and you know, another thing that's...
Hi, Alex.
What's up, Alex? Yeah,
hi, Danielle.
Another thing that you want to be doing is that's really easy resources to start getting you in the game. If you've never done any of these things, definitely start doing these. And that is every time Shark Tank comes out, you need to be watching it. Go watch every single past episode. Find out what investors are looking for. Find out why most businesses fail, why people don't invest in them, why can't they scale. These are all things to start getting the vocabulary and understanding. And the second one, big one, is the profit. How a guy can come in and turn around businesses.
Because the mindset of the owner is stuck in a limited perspective. So when you bring in an outside resource that's thinking outside the box or bigger or creatively, then you can blend your energies together and begin to shift your perspective into seeing and attracting more. And that's a really important chapter in Think and Grow Rich, is masterminding and surrounding yourself with people who want to creatively use their power to dream up big things for you and help you to make that happen. So here's another thing. If you want to start attracting abundance, surround yourself with people who have an abundance mindset. If you come from a background of scarcity, then why do you think you feel the same way? Now, eliminate that. I'm not saying get them out of your life, but go surround yourself with people who are wealthy or thinking wealthy thoughts or things like that. And if you don't know them in person, start listening to their podcasts or start reading these books. There's so many books out there, and I know you have a lot of suggestions on books.
Yeah, the big thing about surrounding yourself, I think I first heard this maybe from Brian Tracy, and that is that your net worth typically is the net worth of the 5 people around you. If you took that and averaged it, and they've done studies on this, and it's for the most part true. And so if you don't have those friends in your regular life, go seek them out. They're out there. Go find them. Mm-hmm. The second part is, like she said, go find podcasts. Go find people who write books. Go find people you can connect with. That's why we're talking about Shark Tank. That's why we're talking about shows like The Profit.
Yeah, you can hang out with billionaires like
They're on YouTube. They're
yeah,
out there.
on
So,
YouTube. So,
yeah, so
like,
start
go
watching them.
listen to the
Read
way
their
they're
biographies.
thinking, understand their mindset, and adopt the qualities and traits about the people that inspire you, that motivate you, that help you think from a higher perspective. Adopt that mindset and try it on for just a little while and see how it feels. Because if you've been living in one mindset for so long, you know you're familiar with it. You understand how it works. Try a new mindset and just see what begins to happen. You might surprise yourself.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. You know, even if you adopt the right, perfect mindset, one thing that we like to do.
Well, constantly challenge your own beliefs and strive to go outside what you have risen your beliefs or mindset to in the past. Just keep evolving.
It's funny how when you get around people who are really good at something, how you just pick it up. And you pick it up naturally. We're natural imitators of people. And so if you hang out with people that are super positive and they're upbeat and they're, good energy, they're healthy,
Hi, Cynthia.
You'll start doing those things anyways, just because you're around them. When people go
I used to pick up like really bad like slang or like things that my friends would say in high school, and my mom would be like, "Oh, where did that come from?" And I was like, "It's me. And now I realize I was totally influenced by the people I was hanging out with.
Yeah, it's one of those invisible influences that if you're not paying attention to, and so what I do is I set a reminder in my phone, and it goes off every 4 months, 3 to 4 months, depending on how I'm feeling. And I will relook at what people have I been hanging out with, what music have I been listening to, what thoughts have I been generating in my head from any kind of media that I've been consuming.
We call it updating the rules.
Yeah, you have to check these things out, and especially when you're talking about money, if you suddenly get around a bunch of friends and you're having a good time, and then you get to that money part and you realize all of their money beliefs really suck. It's really easy to take on their beliefs. We're super susceptible to that.
And you do it unconsciously. You don't even recognize it. But today, I'm hearing everyone say, like, I have a money block. Well, okay, you're conscious of it. Stop the story. Today, now that you're conscious of it, why would you keep saying the same story? Stop the story, begin again, surround yourself with people that are going to uplift and inspire you and challenge you to think bigger. Go read Think and Grow Rich and begin to speak gratitude towards your bank account, towards every penny that comes in. Because remember, if you're here watching this, you're already more wealthy than someone else out there in the world, because not everyone has a cell phone to watch live videos.
Yeah, perspective is really important.
So I think having gratitude, to appreciate means to make more of. So if you want more money, appreciate the money that you do have. Give it love. Stop being afraid to look at your bank account. Go into the bank account, even if there's 36 cents in there, and say, "Thank you, 36 cents. Thank you."
Yeah, whatever, if you're not aware of it, you can't change it. Like that's a huge deal. And so if you're not willing to like take your flashlight and look at the dark corners, you'll never see what's there. You'll never be able to manipulate it. You'll never be able to act on it. And the biggest deal what Britt's talking about with the stories and things like that, listen, what you will use to overcome any kind of story that you have is action. Action is the one thing that mitigates all stories. It's like if you're going to go up onto something and you feel afraid of it, but you do it anyway, then who cares? Again,
that's courage.
The fear is made up. And so always be pushing forward. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how afraid you get. It doesn't matter any of those things. If you can just do it anyways, eventually the fear will stop being there. Maybe it'll come up a little bit, but you're so used to just doing it that, if you pause and you wait and you think and you just sit there and you're like, the moment will pass. If you see somebody say, "Hey, I really want to go talk to that person," but you stand there in fear, you miss out on the opportunity. Instead, just before you can get into the whole, negative thought and let the negative thought build and make big pictures in your mind about how negative things can be and all this worry habit, just do it. Just do it immediately. And what you'll find is that a lot of times the monsters that you thought were there didn't even exist. And the person or the situation or the opportunity that you were going to go after was much easier to get. And if it wasn't, that wasn't an opportunity for you. Another one's going to come along in a few more minutes. Then take action on that one.
It's true. Something that you've said, really reminded me that so many people think that they need money to have what they want in life. And I think it's important to decide what it is you want in life. And sure, sometimes money needs to be used to purchase it, but stop focusing on the fact that you need the money. I want you to begin to focus your attention and appreciation on what it is you want, and allow the universe to bring it into your life in a way that you couldn't think up, you couldn't imagine. It's not always the money that you need to get what you're looking for. Sometimes it's the connection, the support, someone reaches out with an idea, something that isn't money. But if we're so focused on like, well, I don't have money, I need money to do that, then you've already cut yourself off from moving forward and allowing new opportunities and situations to, you know, literally magically appear. There are so many opportunities that I could have never guessed that would enter my life, like being on Good Morning Texas a couple times. Like, I was yearning for that desire, but I didn't know how to make it happen. So what I did is every day I focused on, I want to share my message on a bigger scale. And one day someone from Good Morning Texas sat in my chair. And I inspired her because every day I showed up as if I was that person ready to be that person on TV to share and to inspire women. And she called me 6 months later from that time. She sat in my chair and she said, there's a segment on Good Morning Texas for you, and I remembered you and I would love for you to be on there. And I said yes, because I had been showing up every day as if I were ready for that opportunity. Although it wasn't present in my life, or fuck, I didn't know how to get it, I just showed up ready and I knew what I wanted. I didn't think I needed money. I just knew that that's what I wanted, and I showed up with the intention every day that I was worthy of receiving that.
Yeah, it's fascinating that when you change your mindset about things and you change your beliefs and you just become open to what opportunities present themselves in your life. A lot of times the keys that we seek so much and the transformation, all those kind of things are already actually right there in our lives and totally within our power. We're just using our beliefs to blind ourselves to them. And what ends up happening is that you don't see the doors of opportunity because you're so narrow focused on something.
It can only come this way.
Yeah, I can only walk through this one door, and then what you don't realize is there's 50 other doors and they're all wide open waiting for you, and a whole support team on the other side. But you're like, I just want to go to this door. Yeah. And it doesn't work, so let it go of how exactly that it happens, Definitely push forward with your plan, but let go of the details.
Yeah, Anne says clarity and intention are huge, which you're exactly right. It's not knowing how, but it's knowing what you want, and then having the intention and the willingness to take that inspired action when things present themselves. Always look with an open mind. Yeah,
and one last resource we want to leave you guys with, if you've buried yourself in debt, and there's a lot of people that have, or you have had money but you just, it suddenly just vanishes. It's like I've seen a lot of people that live these super wealthy lifestyles, but they're actually not really that far away from bankruptcy. Maybe they're only a month or two out, and if you look on the outside, like, oh man, this person's crushing it, and really they're not. So start looking into, we're going to give you another resource book-wise, because I love books. This is an easy, cheap way to get in the game.
Yeah.
You can go to Barnes & Noble and sit there and read it if you don't feel like buying it. I mean, it's no big deal.
Just start.
Yeah, David Bach. David Bach writes a lot of good stuff on financial things. Go look at David Bach's stuff about budgeting, getting out of debt, and stuff like that. At least it'll start to help you. We're not financial advisors or planners or attorneys or accountants or anything like that.
No, we had to heal our own stories and our own situations, and that's why we're here to say that it doesn't matter where you come from. It just matters what you believe and the story you're telling yourself and the world. So I invite you to tune in. What's your self-worth on a scale of 1 to 10? Where do you sit on it right now? Well, I want you to crank it all the way up to 10 today and just enjoy that energy. See what happens. See what magic you manifest and abundance you attract. We'll see you next Friday from Iceland for the Elevated Life series at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time.
We'll try it. Hey, we're going to try and be there.
If we have Wi-Fi, but we will be with you sharing more about this money mindset. And if you have questions about this or about any topic you'd like us to cover, be sure to leave them in the comments below, and we will be happy to cover whatever topic you guys want to talk about. Thank you, Erica. Thanks for joining, everyone. Thank you so much, and safe trip, she says.
Yes, thank you.
We'll be sure to post lots of photos, so if you want to check them out over on my Instagram, you can follow me at The World by Britt, and that's with 1 T, and I'll have lots of photos for you. So we'll see you next week from Iceland, and be sure to leave the topics you want us to cover in the comments below. Have a great weekend.